Hi, Nigel Saunders here. Today we're going to look at larches. We're going to look at their fall colors, and we're going to study the branch structure on a larch I have in the backyard, and kind of get a mental picture of how we're going to prune these trees in the upcoming year. So this larch is almost lost all its foliage. So I think in about probably another week or so, I'll be putting all my hardy trees or outdoor trees into the basement to overwinter them. So we're going to talk about overwintering the trees also in this video, and some ideas of how to get your trees through the winter and keep them alive. You can overwinter your trees in the ground if you want. It's very risky though. Even these trees in the pre-bonsai garden, every year I get rabbits that chew on the trunks of them and sometimes totally kill them off. Here's a maple here that last year rabbits chewed the entire main trunk, and it sprouted new growth on each side. So if you do overwinter your trees in the ground, you can put the pot and the tree and bury it in your garden. I would recommend putting some type of a cage over it, something to protect it from rabbits. It's hard to protect them from mice. Mice can kind of burrow under whatever you put over your trees, and so that's why I keep them indoors in the winter, because I've lost trees in the ground several times where rabbits and mice have chewed the trunks right down to the wood and killed the tree. If you do keep your trees in a garage or basement, try and keep them off the ground on a bench, so if you do get mice in the house, they have a harder time climbing up to the trees and chewing on them. Well, here's the Larch Forest on November the 1st. We're starting to get some nice fall colors on it. You can see that some of the trees are more into their fall colors than others. And we also got our first snow today. In fact, it's just lightly snowing now. Once it's lost all its leaves, you can kind of see, the structure of the branches, and we can do a fall pruning. Now with our fall pruning, what we're looking for is removing major problem areas. So let's try and find an example here. Here, for instance, we've got a branch that there's a shoot that's coming quite vertical here, so we can prune that off to get the more horizontal buds to form the new branch for next year. There's some more shoots here that are shooting straight up that are getting too long. Those can be shortened. So you can do some, go over your trees in fall and do a structural pruning. We're not going to do too fine a pruning, because what I like to do is wait till spring when the new buds are forming, or not when they're forming, but when they're starting to come out. So when you start to see some green on the tips of the buds, and then you can go in and selectively prune which buds you want to keep and which ones you want to get rid of. So come spring, we'll be repotting this forest, and we'll be doing a detailed pruning of it. So that'll be coming. So let's go. Right now is a good time to look at the structure of larch branches. So let's go and have a look at a larch tree I have in my backyard, and we'll look at the branches and see what a larch tree looks like and how we can apply this to our bonsai larches. So here's a larch tree that's in my backyard, and it's got some good branches down low that we can go in and have a look at. So let's go up to it. So you can see the foliage is fairly flat on the branch. It doesn't have a lot of shoots that stick up very high. And underneath the branch, it's fairly clean. So there's no growth that points down, and if it does, it kind of dies off because it doesn't get light. So that's kind of the overall structure. And you can see the branches. There's one that follows parallel with the main branch. There's some that come out fairly parallel to the main branch. There's some that come out at 90 degrees. And I think there's even some that go back towards the tree. Yeah. If you look up here, there's some growing back in towards the tree. There's another one here that grows back towards the tree. So a fairly chaotic branch structure. It's almost like a jumble of branches on top of the main branch, which is fairly straight. So that's kind of the look we're going to go for in our larch forest and our larch trees. Hey, Dandelion, come on. Hey, how's it going? He's a good fellow. Oh, what a good fellow. What a good fellow, eh? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Eh? He's a nice fella. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, here's the plant room I have on the side of the house. It's sort of like a greenhouse in a way. It has south-facing windows right here. And I built this roof peak here to get as much light in the front windows as I can into the room. So let's go in and have a look at it. So the house originally had a little porch on the side here, and I used to keep my tropical trees in it, and it wasn't insulated, and it didn't have very big windows, and it had a low ceiling. So we tore that porch down, and we put a basement in it. So down here, you can see the two basement windows. And this part of the basement, I don't keep heated, so there's a door that separates it from the furnace. So it stays pretty cool in this basement. And that's where I put my hardy trees over the winter. And hardy trees don't need light in the winter. They can be put in a wine cellar, a garage, anywhere, as long as the temperature is cool. Ideally, you want to keep your temperature just above freezing, but they can freeze. You just don't want them to drop, you know, when it's minus 24 degrees outside. It's nice to keep your trees a little warmer and out of the wind. So here's the plant room. There's the roof peak. So lots of light. In winter, you don't get as much light as you do in the summer. The days are shorter. It's often cloudy. But because your trees are spending so much time indoors in Canada over the winter, you want to give as much light as you can. So that's what I've tried to do here. So here we are in the basement. I've got shelves that I put the trees on for the winter, and they get a little bit of light through those windows, but not much. It's pretty dark down here. It stays fairly cool and humid down here, so you don't need to water your trees a whole lot in the winter. If you check them maybe once every 2 weeks, you can pile some snow on them or give them a water with the watering can, and that'll keep them happy through the winter. They don't have to be, you don't want your trees wet in the winter. You just want the soil to be kind of moist. And I usually water the trees maybe 6 times during the winter, and that seems to do it. So let's go upstairs now and look at the tropical plant room. So I've got lots of windows. I have a window in the door. I have a wall that separates the room, which has windows. The door has windows. So I'm trying to get as much light as possible. So let's go inside and have a look. There we are. We're inside now. It's fairly humid in here. And it's warmer than outside for sure. So I've got a lot of trees in here, and I have way too many. I don't like it this crowded. It's really hard to work on the trees. However, I hate to get rid of trees also, but I think I'm going to have to do that. A lot of these cuttings I took off the Portulacaria have grown really well, but they take up a lot of room in the plant room, so I think I'm going to have to be selective and maybe get rid of some of them. I don't know. So, I just heat this room with a space heater. It keeps it, I keep it cool in the winter, but not, you know, not real cool. I try and keep it about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or at least, you know, 10 degrees centigrade. And the plants do pretty well in here. And it's nice in winter, to some of those days where it's really stormy out, to be in the plant room where it's warm and you can work on your trees. Gives you a feeling of being in Florida. So that's how I overwinter my trees. One note on watering. My trees that are outdoors still, I haven't had to water them in probably a month and a half now. We've been getting enough rain and the trees are going dormant, and it's cool temperatures out now that you don't have to do any watering. The soil just stays moist, and it's kind of nice to get a break occasionally from watering trees all the time. So the next video, I think we'll be tackling this pre-bonsai garden again. I'm just waiting for all the leaves to fall off, and they're almost there. And we'll go in and do a fall pruning to the trees. And that'll be it for the pre-bonsai garden for the winter. So that'll be in the next video. So that's it for today. Nigel Saunders. We'll see you next time.